What if the richest man in the world didn't invent anything, didn't build a tech empire, and didn't live in Silicon Valley? Stay until the end to listen to Warren's most common quotes. You will be surprised on some of them. What if he did it all from Omaha, Nebraska, with a $100 bill and a library card? This is the story of Warren Buffett. Not just a billionaire, but a blueprint for building wealth slowly, wisely, and with purpose. Warren Edward Buffett was born on August 30th, 1930, during the worst economic crisis in American history, the Great Depression. His hometown? Omaha, Nebraska, the heartland of America, far from the noise of Wall Street. His father, Howard Buffett, was a stockbroker and a man of principles. His mother, Layla, was disciplined and sharp. The family knew what it meant to struggle and save. That environment shaped young Warren into a child obsessed with numbers, patterns, and profit. Buffett wasn't like other kids. By the age of 6, he had bought a pack of Coca-Cola bottles for 25 cents and sold them one by one for a nickel each, making a small but exciting profit. By 11, he made his first stock purchase, 3 shares of City Service, preferred at $38 per share. Soon after, the price fell to $27. Buffett panicked and sold at $40, relieved to make a tiny profit, only to watch it soar past $200 soon after. That experience taught me the importance of patience, he later said. The market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. By age 13, he was filing his own tax return. By age 14, he bought a 40-acre farm using savings from his newspaper route and leased it to a tenant. By age 16, Warren had already made the equivalent of $60,000 in today's money. Buffett's hunger wasn't just for money, it was for understanding. He devoured every book on finance in the Omaha Public Library. He read 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000 and was mesmerized. He later said that reading that one book changed the trajectory of his life. In high school, he launched multiple side hustles. He sold used golf balls. He ran a pinball machine business with a friend, installing machines in barbershops, collecting coins weekly. When the business grew, they sold it for $1,200, and Warren reinvested it. His early mantra was simple: I will be rich by 35. He meant it, and every decision he made pointed toward that goal. After high school, Buffett applied to Harvard Business School. They rejected him. The interviewer reportedly said, "You're too young." Buffett was crushed, briefly. Then he read that Benjamin Graham, his hero and the author of The Intelligent Investor, was teaching at Columbia University. He immediately applied and was accepted. At Columbia, Buffett sat in front-row lectures with Graham and David Dodd, the godfathers of value investing. That changed everything. He learned how to value a company, why emotions destroy investors, and the golden rule: price is what you pay, value is what you get. After graduating, Warren begged to work for Benjamin Graham and was turned down, twice. Eventually, Graham gave in and Buffett worked at Graham Newman Corp. as an analyst. There, he learned how to spot mispriced assets, businesses selling for less than their liquidation value. It was like buying $1 for 50 cents. Buffett was obsessed, but Graham was a purist. He didn't care if a business was great, only if it was cheap. Buffett disagreed. A great business at a fair price is better than a fair business at a great price. This philosophical rift would eventually lead Buffett back to Omaha to go out on his own. In 1956, with just over $100 of his own money and investments from friends and family, Buffett started the Buffett Partnership Limited. He promised one thing to his investors: he wouldn't take risks, he wouldn't trade emotionally, and he would invest as if every dollar were his own. His results: he outperformed the market every single year. By the early 1960s, his returns had made him a millionaire, and he was only in his early 30s. And then he found a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. But now, in his early 30s, Warren was about to make the most ironic mistake of his career, buying a dying textile company, and somehow turn it into the most powerful investment vehicle in the world. In the early 1960s, Buffett began buying shares of Berkshire Hathaway, a struggling textile mill in Massachusetts. It was classic Graham-style value, a beaten-down company trading below its asset value. But Buffett didn't stop at shares. He took control of the company. Why? Because the CEO tried to lowball him during a share repurchase deal. Warren, out of sheer spite, decided to buy up more shares and take over the company. It was the dumbest investment I ever made. In 1959, Buffett met a man who would change the way he thought forever, Charlie Munger. A brilliant lawyer, investor, and thinker, Munger was blunt, wise, and sharp. While Buffett was focused on buying cheap, Munger said, "Warren, it's better to buy a great business at a fair price than a fair business at a great price." Buffett listened. Together, they started acquiring companies with durable competitive advantages, strong brands, ethical and competent management, predictable cash flow. These were wonderful businesses, and they would form the bedrock of the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio. In 1972, Buffett bought See's Candies for $25 million. It was making just a few million a year in profit. But Buffett saw something deeper. See's had something numbers couldn't fully measure: customer love. Generations of families bought the same chocolates every holiday. See's had pricing power. They could raise prices and people would still buy. It changed Buffett's thinking forever. "Give me a company with a moat," he said, "and I'll never worry about the market." That concept of an economic moat, a business's long-term advantage, would define all future investments. From Coca-Cola to Geico to American Express, Buffett started buying companies that had brand loyalty network, effects, cost advantages, emotional resonance. Buffett didn't just want cash flow. He wanted castles with moats around them protected from competition. He bought Geico because it had low-cost insurance at scale. He bought Coca-Cola because it was a brand known around the globe. He bought American Express after the salad oil scandal, when no one else would, because he trusted their long-term strength. He didn't chase hype. He didn't buy because others were buying. He bought because he believed in durability. Buffett's biggest weapon was not brilliance, it was time. He often says, "My wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compound interest." Compounding was more than math. It was faith and consistency. He held Coca-Cola for decades. He reinvested earnings. He avoided trends. He read. He waited. The stock market is designed to transfer money from the active to the patient. By letting his investments compound quietly, Buffett did something most people can't. He got rich slowly. Even as his net worth exploded past $100 billion, Buffett never changed his lifestyle. He still lives in the same Omaha home he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He eats McDonald's breakfasts, ordering based on how the market is doing that morning. He drinks cherry Coke all day. He drives a modest car. He doesn't use a smartphone. He doesn't check stock prices during the day. His life isn't flashy, but it works. If you buy things you don't need, you'll soon sell things you do. Despite being worth over $100 billion, Buffett made a deliberate choice not to leave his children with enormous wealth. He believes that inherited money can stifle ambition, so he gave each child a manageable amount, enough to do something but not enough to do nothing. His children, Susan, Howard, and Peter, all run charitable foundations, and Buffett encouraged them to find purpose, not privilege. He once said, "A rich person should leave their kids enough to do anything, but not enough to do nothing." Buffett has distilled his philosophy into hundreds of quotes, but here are 10 that define his life and his legacy. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number. First, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. It's better to hang out with people better than you. Pick associates whose behavior is better than yours. Time is the friend of the wonderful company, the enemy of the mediocre. You only have to do a very few things right in your life so long as you don't do too many things wrong. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. The most important investment you can make is in yourself. Warren Buffett's true wealth isn't his billions. It's the example he set, that you don't need to live in New York or Silicon Valley to change the world. That being kind, humble, and honest is a competitive advantage. That reading, thinking, and waiting can outperform speed and noise. That giving back is the final form of success. Buffett has said that his goal isn't to be the richest man in the graveyard. Success is not measured by money. It's measured by how many people you want to have love you do love you,